Why were there more millionaires created in the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic than ever before in 1 year? Successful people all have some things in common, certain behaviors. Things they do, but also things they do not do. Other than business and wealth building skills, a good attitude is often a key factor in anyone's financial success. Most of us have developed bad habits and behaviors, but there's always room for improvement and ways to eliminate them. Here, we are going to take a close look at what habits and behaviors all rich and successful people have eliminated from their lives so that they are not held back by them. What are these certain habits that we must also rid ourselves from to set us up for success? Let's find out. Comparing yourself to others. Personal and professional rivalry is a mind game that will only make your life more difficult in the long run. Just because other people may do things differently from you doesn't make their method superior to yours. Furthermore, the time and effort spent comparing yourself to others is better spent working on yourself or your own projects. Yes, observing the actions of others provide valuable insight and a chance to pick up new ideas. This is especially helpful when you're just starting out with a new team or project, and you need to learn the ropes before suggesting fresh ideas or implementing innovative solutions. However, you should not confuse the two activities of comparison and research. They are not the same. While it's okay to be curious about the methods used by specialists or people in higher positions in order to learn from them, it is not okay to beat yourself up just because you may have less experience than them. When we compare ourselves to others, we are essentially looking to feel better about ourselves. But this is not a fair comparison. Most other people won't openly discuss their own mistakes and failures with us. They would more likely rather boast about their professional achievements. You won't get their whole story. It's not fair to compare yourself to others who are doing well if you're just getting started. You have no idea what they've been through or how they arrived here. Many successful business people have failed numerous times before they found success, but you won't necessarily know about that. It is better to compare your current self to your past self rather than to other people. But don't just make it about money though. Think also about everything you've accomplished so far. Being a perfectionist. According to the findings of several studies, perfectionists have a propensity to be highly motivated, highly engaged, and willing to work long hours. However, the persistent search for excellence can lead to you having unrealistic standards, which can extend the amount of time spent on projects without adding value and hinder a company's owner or employees from ever accomplishing their objectives. And this is just the beginning of the issues that come with perfectionism. The perfectionist will view the results of meeting high standards as something that should have been expected and not as something to be happy about. This unrelenting pressure to achieve and the lack of satisfaction that comes as a result of it can fuel excessive stress and anxiety for themselves and others, which can lead to burnout and even depression. If you're an entrepreneur, your primary focus should be on developing a business culture that places less of an emphasis on achieving perfection and places a greater emphasis on learning from and moving past the inevitable failures that are an inherent part of the business world's cutthroat nature. You won't be able to effectively delegate anything if you strive for perfection. You will attempt to do everything on your own since you need to have complete control over everything, but this will cause you to go more slowly. It is acceptable for you to reduce your expectations slightly in the beginning in order to gain more efficiency. This will help you grow and scale your business. Constantly complaining. There are two distinct categories of person. Reactive people are those who are always complaining about something, while proactive people are those that acknowledge there is a problem but work to find a solution to it. What do reactive people do? They claim that the government is corrupt, that every president that they elect becomes corrupted by companies, that Wall Street constantly rips them off, but most of all, they believe that everything that happens to them is out of their control. This mentality of being a victim will get you absolutely nowhere. A person who has a victim mentality will blame everyone else for everything that happens to them and will blame themselves for nothing. It could be the fault of a business partner, a family member, a work colleague, anyone else but themselves. They don't take any responsibility for what happens to them. and claim that they can't change the situation because it's out of their hands. They are influenced by the environment and circumstances around them. Conversely, someone who is proactive believes that they are the influence on the environment and circumstances around them. They would acknowledge that the system is not working and that nobody is doing anything to help them. So they would then ask themselves, what can I do to help me reach my goals? They read books, they educate themselves to increase their financial literacy. They could spend some of that time learning how the stock market operates rather than engaging in time-consuming activities like playing video games or watching TV. They set aside some money and launch their own business. They do not attribute their actions to factors, circumstances, or the conditions of their environment. They are aware that they have a choice in how they conduct themselves. What sets the wealthy and the super wealthy apart is not just the volume of money that they accumulate, but how they manage it. They all share behaviors and habits besides creativity, determination to succeed, and a desire to learn and grow from challenges. They carefully and deliberately manage their money to make sure that it's safe, secure, and invested to grow. Keep watching to find out more behaviors to avoid if you want to become a millionaire. Afraid of failure. It is completely natural to be terrified of failing short of your own expectations. This is just part of life, but still, we never want to give the impression that we are a failure. Our loved ones and friends delight in the fact that they told you so because you ignored their advice. If you fail at something, you will feel like a failure to other people. However, failing is something we all will experience, but we need to fail in order for us to grow. None of us were born with the ability to talk. We learn it. Some can do so during the first year of life, while others require twice as much time. In other instances, there are those who do not learn how to talk until they are 3 years old. Albert Einstein was one of these late learners. It didn't exactly hold him back in life. He was one of the smartest people in history. It simply took baby Einstein a bit longer to say his first hello. Here's another example of how constant failure drives us to keep trying. When you were a baby, you didn't know how to walk, but you gave it a shot anyway. It is an absolute certainty that you were not successful in the very first attempt, let alone the second. You probably needed a few months to practice walking before you became proficient at it. Some infants can master the art of walking well before their first birthday. Some take significantly longer. Imagine for a moment if you were too afraid to even attempt to walk. You'd still be crawling around on the floor. Okay, do you recall every time you were unsuccessful? Of course you don't. And that brings us to the crux of the matter. Of course, it is an awful feeling when you fail, but ultimately, after many attempts, you will succeed and forget all those times that you failed. It makes no difference what it is you are attempting to do. Failure is the necessary path we all take to arrive at success. Low self-value. Self-respecting individuals usually treat others with respect as well. According to the experts, we can raise our own sense of self-worth by valuing the worth of those around us. Conversely, whenever we devalue other people, we inevitably come to view ourselves less highly, which can limit our success. No one should have to live in misery because they don't value themselves. It's common for people to either consciously or unconsciously convince themselves that they're flawed in some way and therefore are unworthy of happiness and success. However, they can eliminate the negative self-talk and choose to live a life with a desire to strive for greatness. Those who cultivate the conviction that they can make a difference in the lives of others and in the world at large, and that they are deserving of good things in life, are more likely to bring those things into their own lives. You must always keep in mind that self-worth is a function of your behavior in relation to your own values. Having a low opinion of yourself might be your biggest barrier to success, even if you have access to intellectual and material advantages. It's simple to understand how limiting beliefs and behaviors emerge when you continue to view yourself through the lens of a rusty pickup truck, when you have the potential to become a shiny new luxury sedan. People around you may react differently to you depending on how you perceive yourself. opportunities arise if you believe that you are worthy of them. Whatever your background, success and happiness will find you if you believe in yourself. The rich and successful know this, and you should too. The lessons you learn from failure, if you refuse to let it break your self-confidence, can fuel a burning desire to succeed in the future. Furthermore, failure can aid in the establishment of priorities and the development of original thinking. Consequently, instead of viewing failure negatively, try viewing it as education. Learn from your mistakes and use that knowledge to make positive changes in your life. Accept your failures as learning opportunities on your journey to great wealth and happiness. If you want to learn more about having a wealthy mindset, click the videos on the screen. Thanks for watching.